The Sonic Movie Show is a weekly podcast that you can find on Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, and YouTube. Just search for The Sonic Movie Show and give us a like wherever you listen. What's up, friends? Welcome to the 25th inaugural episode of The Sonic Movie Show, a show where we talk about Sonic news and movie news, and sometimes Sonic movie news, and stuff that's not exciting. My name is Ethan. With me is my friend Devin.
All right, let me tell you about your God's plan. 6 billion people on Earth when the infection hit. KV had a 90% kill rate. That's 5.4 billion people dead. Crashed and bled out. Dead. Less than 1% immunity. That left 12 million healthy people like you and me and Ethan. The other 588 million turned into your dark seekers. And then they got hungry, and they killed and fed on everybody. Everybody. Every single person that you or I has ever known is dead. Dead. There is no God.
Which Sonic game is that from?
It's from I Am Legend.
Oh my God.
I only picked it because it said
Ethan in there?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, that's the only reason I said it. I had a shorter one.
In that movie?
I don't remember. But I had a shorter quote that just said, God didn't do this, we did. But I saw Ethan, and I'm like, you know what, it fits. It fits well.
Well, I mean, it does fit well because the topic of this episode is being screwed over by something God didn't create, we did, called the coronavirus.
COVID-19, baby.
Yep. Drinking a nice warm glass of COVID-19. Anyway, today, we were supposed to listen to a review of a popular, I think, maybe not really all that popular now, movie called Bloodshot, the latest Vin Diesel thriller based off a superhero comic book. Mm-hmm. We can't go see it. At least we don't want to go see it because of the coronavirus. As I'm sure you know, COVID-19 is really kind of dangerous, and it's spreading really fast, and yada, yada, yada. We
Schools
don't
are
want to be
closing.
around in a bunch of places with crowds of people. As I'm sure some of you are already self-quarantining. You're in your house alone. And you're not going outside unless you're getting milk or bread. So yeah, I guess today was just a regular Sonic Movie Show episode. And we're going to talk about why all this is happening, right?
I guess. We're going to tell you all the history about COVID-19. No. We're just going to talk about... that'd be a long
I don't even know the history
episode.
of COVID-19.
No, we're just going to talk about like the effects that COVID-19 has had on not just this show, obviously, but movies in general. Right now,
It's ruined our plans twice.
Yes. I mean, first off, we were kind of busy this week, but we were planning to see it this Sunday. Well, today when we're recording, we were going to do like kind of a later episode. But then... so our theater didn't close, but
right.
A lot of theaters right now are doing this rule where they won't fill it more than 50% capacity, which is still a lot of people. So you have, if you have, a theater of 250 seats, you're still getting
125 people.
Yeah, 125 people. And
the idea,
even if you sit
is that they don't want
every
someone
other
sitting
seat
next to you.
But every other seat still.
Yeah,
it's
not ideal.
Far
at
enough
all.
for the virus to travel. If I cough, it's going to go a good 5 or 6 feet. But yeah, I don't know. I'm really kind of shocked. But I'm more shocked.
They
at the
need to
fact
stay
that,
in business. This is probably one of the only times I'll ever be like a corporate apologist. But like, what do you want them to do? Just be like, we're closed and we're not going to make money indefinitely. You know what I mean? They can't really do that.
Yeah,
I don't know. At least, I don't know, because most of the emails I've gotten are like, our underpaid part-time high schoolers are going to be working extra hard to clean things for you so that it's safe for you to shop. At least it wasn't just that kind of a message. Like, hey, we're going to make sure that we just completely spray down your seat with Lysol before you sit in it. I guess.
But now that we're quarantined, or I guess we don't have to be, but what have you been... What have you been watching or I guess we should add playing to that. I feel like this is still kind of video gamey sometimes, so maybe we add video games.
I'll keep it brief because I got a long strap in a long enough. I'm tired. It's Sunday. I just came back from work. For the first time in years that I can recall, because I usually don't do this, for the first time in forever, I actually watched two movies back to back. Finished a movie, immediately started up the next one. I guess I could make you guess, but that would be kind of pointless because you wouldn't guess it until I told you. I watched Ladies and Gentlemen of the Jury. I watched John Wick and John Wick 2 back to back. And
All right.
let me tell you,
I appreciate that.
I haven't seen them since theaters. I know you recently you watched them before seeing the third movie with me in theaters because you hadn't seen them before. I had seen John Wick in theaters, cool, and then I saw John Wick 2 in theaters, and then hadn't seen them since. So it's the first time I've seen them since, and the first time in forever I watched two movies back to back. And let me tell you, my friend, that is almost the ideal way of watching that movie. I wish I had like 3 more hours that night to watch John Wick 3 right away, because they really do take place like right after each other. 2 takes place like maybe he gives enough time to drive his dog home or something like that, and then it picks up immediately. And then I'm pretty sure John Wick 3 picks up immediately after John Wick 2.
Yeah, it's within like 20 minutes, it feels like. I think they were counting down. Like you have 24 hours or whatever.
No, he has 1 hour.
Oh, 1 hour, sorry. And
he spends some of that talking. Yeah, it's great. And it's almost like, it almost feels like it's just one long movie. Because there's a couple characters that are barely in the first one and barely in the second one, and they're not really introduced. They're kind of just there. And in the second movie, if you had just seen the first one, it feels like it's still just a part of the same movie. And I say this in a good way. Both movies, by the way, when someone doesn't know who John Wick is in the beginning, you know, the main dude or whatever literally says the same thing about him. He says, John is a man of, I'm going to mess this up, of commitment, something, and sheer will. He says, he once killed 3 men with a pencil. Like, in both movies, they say the exact same thing. And I want to figure out, I don't remember if John Wick 3 has the same thing. And it's just cool. It feels like it's just like, I don't know, high quality action. It brought Keanu Reeves back, as we all know. Really enjoyed watching a second time. That's what I watched. What I've been playing, and I'll make this brief too, I've been going back into an old video game I loved very much from 13 years ago, because that's how old this game is, called Bioshock. Love this game. I like the genre. These are kind of like simulation shooters, I guess people call them. Otherwise, people call them 0451 games because of like a little in-joke. They're basically, they don't have to be shooters, they don't have to be first person, but most of them are. They take place in realistic buildings, realistic living spaces. There might be dead ends that serve no purpose, but they would belong there in real life, so they're there. It's not like a Doom level or like a Call of Duty Warzone kind of level or something like that, you know. There's lots of different ways to approach things, and Bioshock did the one thing where it's like we're having a really cool aesthetic, really cool like time and place, unique stuff to it to make it memorable, and it kind of muddies itself with not really explaining its like satire on certain politics very well. Instead, it kind of just makes those politics seem cool instead of saying like, hey, no, they're bad. Playing a lot of that, loving it. Makes me go back, because there are some times where I play old games or see old movies. I'm sure you're the same way. You've seen an old movie before, or you played an old video game as a kid or whatever. You liked it, and then years later, you know, you moved on. You haven't gone back. You experience things that are like it, that are newer, and you maybe grow as a person, and you read deeper into things that the thing you liked maybe failed in, you know what I mean, or didn't hit the mark. Like I bring up like the politics thing. It really misses the mark about trying to like really explain its message on politics at all. It fails that. And I didn't really get that as a kid 13 years ago. But then, you know, growing older, I'm like, well, there are games in this style that I like a lot more that I think do it a lot better. And Bioshock feels very slim. And it's also kind of missing the mark in its messaging. I don't really think I like it all that much. Of course, I go to this conclusion not having played it any time recently. So then when I go back now and I play it or have seen a movie, something like that, I'm like, no, you know what? I actually do still like it. Here are other things about it that I can now experience as an adult that I like. And I think that's good to do that every now and then. Pick something you haven't watched in forever or haven't played or read or listened to in forever that you know you liked. And it's going to be different. And you might actually find yourself growing more as a person. But that's for me.
Well,
what have you been?
I was gonna say that was a really good speech at the end.
I'm
very
also
inspired.
sorry. One more thing. I finished watching all of season 1 of Avatar: The Last Airbender. I'm waiting on this other guy to finish. Sorry, go on.
Well, I haven't really done. Well, it's only been a week, right? So I haven't really watched too much. I haven't watched anything different from last week. Continuing to watch Community, but the only weird thing that happened was I got to the episode. Literally right before we recorded this, I was watching the last episode with Troy. He leaves. He's Donald Glover's character.
Okay.
But he leaves on a sailboat called the Childish Tycoon. And in real life at that time, he was going to start pursuing his musical career. He just dropped one of probably his biggest album because of the internet that I really, really like. So it's weird to see it. But coincidentally enough, today he dropped a website link that has his new album that's been hinted at for a good 3 years.
Wow.
On the website was called Donald Glover Presents, and so he's not even using the Childish Gambino name anymore. I don't know, but it was streaming the full album for 12 hours, but it ended around the same time we finished that episode. So it was kind of weird to be that was the beginning of his kind of breakout, and this is supposedly his last album he's gonna do, at least under Childish Gambino. So it's kind of weird. I'm feeling weird about that. I'm it's a weird coincidence to be I watched a TV show that I happen to have a minute, but what's the chances of him dropping finally something about this album that's people have been waiting for 2 or 3 years? But I've been doing. Yeah, I've been watching.
Didn't Jay Electronica come back after a
yes,
decade?
Yes. I haven't listened to.
Because he had
album,
two songs that people revere as amazing, and then nothing until now. And people were oh my god, it's the second.
I don't know if it's because of COVID-19 that people are shit. I need to help out those people out there. They're gonna be sitting inside all day. I might get more streams. With them not being busy.
A little bit of news, but related. Some streaming services are pushing things early because hey, people are going to be sitting inside. Here's Frozen 2. We can stream it tonight, and I just
crazy.
might.
So that's in terms of what I'm watching. I guess it's just Community. I come home, I watch something on YouTube. But most of the stuff I watch on YouTube now is more political, I watch a lot of The Hill. Getting angry, agitated, and then I come on stream and release that anger through comedy or lack thereof. But in terms of video games, I've been playing. Jumped back into Nier last week.
Nier Automata.
Yeah, and I'm doing about a half hour, maybe an hour here and there.
Nice. What part you at?
I'm
You're on the
9S.
second.
Yes, I'm 9S now. I'm the Android boy, and I just got past the part where
what's the environment?
Oh, the big machine just blew up and made that crater.
Oh, in the city.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
so
I'm
you already went
surprised
through
how
the desert
quick.
And the theme park back again.
Yeah. I'm surprised how quick the game feels now that I'm a god, pretty much. I'm oh, thank God, because I didn't.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the story, and I haven't. This is the first time I've played it in over exactly 2 years, and as much as it's cool to be oh yeah, I remember this. That part of me was worried. I'm oh no, I remember grinding a lot,
yeah.
But now it feels so much quicker, and I'm okay, that's
now
fine.
there will be a difficulty speed bump you'll hit after your 9S run before the actual second half of the game starts, because then it actually starts ramping up. But you're also getting new stuff, so it's
Yeah.
This is a game I love. I've platinumed it on PlayStation 4. I think it's probably one of the best video game stories, and excited that you're going to continue. Have you been doing any of the side quests?
I try to, but at the same time, I kind of get distracted.
Yeah.
It's a time thing too, where I'm like, okay, I have an hour, and I know I remember this mission being short, so I'm like, okay, I can knock this out quick. But
My problem with the 9S run. So you beat the game as one character, and then you replay it from the beginning as the companion character, doing the same stuff, but when they're separated, you obviously see different things. And then after that, then the second half of the game continues. So you're seeing a lot of repeated stuff. When that hit me, I knew there was like a second half, because I was so confused after rolling the credits on the first time. I'm like, is there more to this or not? And they were like, yes. And this, I just wanted to get through. I'm like, I just want to see what happens next. So I ran through it, and in my opinion, I fucked up, and I missed a very important side quest that would have made something that happens in the second half. Nothing changes, but just it hits you a little bit differently. And I don't want to obviously spoil it for you at all.
if I miss it, I miss it. But
if you miss it, like, it's still fine. Nothing. You're not going to be like. It still definitely affected me, but it would have been like, oh, kind of a thing. You know what I mean? One thing I will say, when you're completely done with the whole game, you and I are going to sit down, and I'm going to show you a video that explains the original Nier's story, because now I own the original Nier. In America, it's just called Nier. In Japan, it's called Nier Replicant or Nier Gestalt, because there was 2 different versions of it.
yeah,
Don't need to go into specifics on that. I haven't played it at all, and I plan to. I plan on actually platinuming that game because I love this franchise. I've only played one game of. Although I've played some of Drakengard. In my opinion, I think it's better to experience Automata before the original Nier. It just makes everything seem so much cooler if you don't know what happened in the first game and learn about it afterwards. But I won't go on any more about that.
but yeah. No, I mean, I like the game for sure. But then I just started. I mean, when I say I mean my girlfriend. She started Stardew Valley, so that's been. Everyone knows what Stardew Valley is, you know.
Yeah.
So she made her character. I was helping her with figuring things out because there's the beginning part's a little.
It is a little bit confusing.
Yeah, what you're supposed to be doing.
I didn't give you any tips. I should have. Like, I didn't realize that, hey, seasons are 1 month long, and that anything you've planted will die immediately on the first day of the next season.
Okay, well, that's good to know.
Because, like, you know, it tells you it takes this many days to mature. If you don't have that many days left, don't plant it, because they'll die before you even get there. Like, and I didn't know that, and I fucked myself over, you know. But it's a learning curve, and I will say this. This is the Ethan gives tips on games Devin's playing segment. Don't worry about missing anything, because the game just rotates through year after year ad infinitum. You know, things will pop up in year 2 that weren't in year 1, but like holidays and events that happen, they will happen every year. You will not be like permanently missing out on things. Like, it's okay to take it at your pace. If you don't feel like running to the other end of town today to do this one thing, don't do it. You know, take it at your pace. So,
and then I only played like 15 minutes of Final Fantasy X.
Oh, really? Today?
Yeah, because I had about 10 minutes, and I'm like, okay, let me push this up. So
nice.
Yep.
Thoughts on those 15 minutes?
I don't know. I mean,
it's too early.
It's too early. Yeah. I just see early 2000s haircuts, and I'm like, nice.
Yeah. Yep. That is my favorite Final Fantasy. It stars a sports dude, so you'll be. I was
gonna say, yeah. I'm like, because Bryn was like watching it briefly, and she was like, "So what sport?" And I'm like, "I don't know. It looks like some weird handball, but in water. I don't. So maybe water polo. I don't know."
A slight spoiler, but they actually did make that full sport in the game. You can play it in the game.
Oh,
like, it's fully in there. It's not super fun to me, and it's kind of hard, but like, you can do that. Like, to just level up your actual dudes is just keep playing the game at different parts. Like, you get a whole bunch of stuff that way.
Who knows? Maybe that'll be my favorite part. Who knows?
Yeah. They were trying, because Final Fantasy hit a point where there's, 7 was this amazing game, It's, world renowned. There's a remake of it coming out next month in April that I pre-ordered, the deluxe edition. I'm so fucking hyped. Play the demo on PS4. It's awesome. But after 7, they're like, we need to up the ante every single time. We need to just always we need to be pushing these boundaries and maintain this momentum. And they stumbled with 8. It wasn't exactly what people wanted. But inside 8 was this hidden gem. And 8's a good game, don't get me wrong. I like 8. It does weird things where, like, it actually doesn't benefit you to level up your characters. In fact, kind of makes it harder if you level up. It's weird like that. Yeah, where, like, literally everything scales to you. So the more you level up, the more everything else levels up, which gives them more things to hurt you with.
I wonder if they messed up when they were developing it. That's really weird.
They sometimes, it's a different era, but like sometimes people don't really think like, how is someone going to abuse my video game? Final Fantasy II, so think Pokemon, a straight up turn-based RPG. And, when you level up... Okay, so this Pokemon is Charmander. By the time it reaches level 100, its stats are going to look like this. This is the intended path. So as it levels up, it's going to get closer to that. We have this intended path for this Pokemon. Its attack is going to be higher than its defense, or blah, blah, blah. And, and lots of turn-based RPGs. Here's a warrior class. Here's a thief. Here's a mage, Here are and they're going to kind of grow in this kind of arc, right, over their levels up. Final Fantasy II changed it up where your stats go up based off of when you use the stat. So if you're constantly using attack with melee weapons, your attack on that character is going to go up. If getting hit makes their HP and defense go up using spells and blah, 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 right? Which makes it a little bit dynamic, kind of makes it almost as if just stick to one strategy because the strategy is going to get better and better and better because that's all you're doing. This is also in an era where you could select anything on the field to do anything to, and if it didn't work, it didn't work. If you wanted to use your sword, not attack, but go into your item inventory, click the sword, and click it on someone, it would say, oh, it didn't work. That would waste your turn, right? You could attack yourself. So what you did is you'd approach this little weak-ass goblin at the beginning and then make him watch the most fucked up version of Fight Club ever, where you just have your characters beat the shit out of each other, then heal them all, then beat the shit out of each. You just do that ad infinitum. Then all of a sudden they're max level at the very beginning of the game because they're beating each other up. And the game designer for that said, I didn't think anyone would ever do that. Why would you want to do that? So Final Fantasy VIII was kind of in that vein where people didn't... I don't think they realized how people are going to abuse this by not playing it the way they wanted. Anyway, sorry, that was a tangent. Final Fantasy VIII introduced this gigantic card game called Triple Triad. A full-blown card game. It's super fun. And ever since then, they've been trying to chase that dragon and having a full-blown game inside their game. 9 had something that was weird. 10 had Blitzball, which is the sport. Sorry, I guess that's a spoiler, but not really. 11 was an MMO. 12 had this full thing in there. 13 tried to do something. They've been always trying to be we need to put a game inside our game. Final Fantasy 15 has full-blown iOS pinball games in there for no reason. It's weird. So,
pinball's great, though.
I'm excited that you're playing all these games.
I'm trying to do my best to fill out my gamer catalog, I guess.
Yeah.
My gamer requirements for my Eagle Scout patch.
You need a Final Fantasy. All right. You need a Switch indie game. All right. You need a Nier Automata.
All right, let's move on to our main topic. We briefly mentioned it in the beginning, and we had our little segment here. But now it's time for the meat, the burger that you ordered.
The deep infected burger.
So, with coronavirus hitting the United States and other parts of the world, but specifically for us, United States, that caused, like we said, most theaters aren't closing, but they're reducing the amount of seats that you can purchase. Mm-hmm. And that has destroyed the overall money made, like ticket sales.
The theater industry is fucked.
Yes. This for the next probably 2 weeks, if maybe longer. Some movies pulled out. We had a list right here.
Yeah.
So
basically,
I was gonna say Fast
these
and
movies
Furious,
don't want to release now because they're not going to make money.
and these are the bigger budget, not bigger budget, but like bigger name films. I think that they know that they can make a lot of money
For sure.
money if
Any kind of movie that has a
it.
trailer that says pre-order your tickets is going to be delaying out of
So
out
you
of
have
March here.
F9, which was originally supposed to be May 22nd. So it's still like 3 months from now, but they pushed
2
it
months.
till next year.
Which is nuts.
Which part of me thinks, I wonder if like the movie wasn't technically finished and there was like some filming that they were doing.
Maybe.
And they had
Because,
they
like,
just canceled it. They're like,
This wasn't the
let's
first film to do this. First major film that I noticed that did it was James Bond, and they only pushed it to the fall. So when I saw that Fast
April
and
2nd
Furious
to
9 was
25th.
jumping till next year, literally almost a full year. It was 11 months away. Jumping that long is like, are they really rolling the dice and thinking like, okay, this is going to last super long, or maybe they don't want to compete with things in the fall? I don't know.
Maybe they didn't want 2 Vin Diesel movies within like the same 3 months. I don't know. So A Quiet Place Part 2, which I know a lot of people are looking forward to. I personally did not like the first one.
I never saw it.
It's what you think is going to happen. I feel like in that movie, just I don't get the hype around it. I put it in the same realm as Bird Box, where like it got hype for some reason. I don't know what it was.
The ending to Bird Box, and that was it.
Bird Box, I was like, that's. I don't even want to talk about it. It's not worth it. Either like it or you don't like it. Whatever.
Yeah.
You have your opinion. That's fine. But yeah, Quiet Place Part 2 was delayed.
But she had those kids. You don't understand that.
I know.
But they weren't her kids. She had them.
So that's been... No release date has been announced, but they just said it's being pushed back. Mulan, another big one. That was supposed to be March 27th.
I think the reason for this, for Mulan, because Disney is keeping Onward in theaters. Black Widow continues to keep its date.
It's on May 1st. That's still another 2 months,
So
a month
Disney
and a half away.
Disney has a lot of things it can compete itself with, so they don't. I think they don't want to push things around. My guess, maybe for Mulan, isn't China like shut down like a lot of things like theaters completely?
Some parts, yeah. I think. Really depends.
Maybe Disney doesn't want to have Mulan release unless it can release it in China to its fullest, because they're actually trying this time to make it feel like it's actually respecting Chinese culture. Mm-hmm. I know, like for the original cartoon, a lot of Chinese folks, at least actually had written comments or whatever back in the day saying like, she feels too American, she's acting too American, this isn't Mulan. So my guess is that they really want to actually like take it seriously to the history
it looks
the film is
dope,
trying to show.
not gonna lie.
Yeah, exactly. They did add like a weird sorceress character. I'm not sure if she was in.
No, I don't think so. I don't think
she
so
wasn't
at all.
in the cartoon.
I watched the tail end of the cartoon the other day.
Well, I know she's
Britain
not
was
in the cartoon.
Watching it.
But like, I don't think.
Oh, you mean the original story? I have no idea.
Well, because it's part of history. But is there some part of it that's also mythologically enhanced?
I always thought it was more of like a folk tale kind of thing. Like it's not like some parts
it could be one
are
of those things where
real,
like, we aren't
but
sure if it's real or not.
Yeah,
is that what you're saying?
like the Battle of Troy, that kind of like
well, we
it
do know
might
that
have
there's a
happened,
giant
but we're
wall in
not
China.
100% sure. But I also am going to say it. Maybe some people are thinking it. Milan also, they might have delayed it because there is definitely racism towards people of
Chinese people
or just Asian people because
Well,
people are
yeah.
racist. So
Did they? Yes.
because there was a lot of businesses that
I've heard that a lot of Chinese restaurants are suffering like crazy.
because people assume that they have the virus, which is incorrect.
That's completely
But-
racist.
But I'm not.
100%
But
racist.
think about it. Think about it. Is it that crazy to think that maybe people will be like, "Oh, I don't want to go to Mulan because there could be, Chinese people in the seats." I'll say it. I'll say it. I'll be the guy to say the truth. Not saying that's the number one reason, but I can see that possibly being talked about in the marketing room or making this decision to
Well,
push
out
it
where
back.
we live, there's just going to be a bunch of little white girls and their soccer mom, Karen type parents sitting there. So
We have that one, and then Black
I didn't
Widow's
think
still
about
staying
that.
at May 1st. But that's this one I don't know.
I think I think Black Widow might be a gamble for Disney. So think about it this way. Let me pitch this. Let's take a little bit of a walk here. Black Widow, Marvel movie,
Yep.
character that's been in the films since almost the beginning, since the third movie. She was in Iron Man 2. So she's been there since the beginning for all intents and purposes. Scarlett Johansson, big name, big actor, but there is a bit of a history with maybe not wanting to have a female-led Marvel movie because they might be afraid people don't want to see that, which we know is bogus, but then sometimes movies like Ghost in the Shell come out and no one wants to see
Captain
that.
Marvel. Still did
Captain
pretty
Marvel
well.
proved them wrong, and my guess is that Captain Marvel success greenlit Black Widow. Maybe they were talking about it. We were always talking about this movie as like maybe they'll do it or not. My guess is okay. It can happen now. We're gonna make Black Widow. I have a feeling they see Black Widow as more of an expendable film than Spider-Man or Thor or any of these other types of characters. So maybe my guess is they're trying to make a gamble here. Let's say by May 1st, we're all good. And
hope
all
so.
the made movies moved. What are you going to go see, Devin? You're going to go see Black Widow because you can't see F9.
Yeah.
You can't see New Mutants.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't see Mulan.
Yeah.
So you're going to go see Black Widow.
That's
You know
probably
what I
one of the
mean?
reasons they didn't move it. Yeah.
That's my guess is like, hey, if we're all still coronavirus and this movie's gonna get fucked,
It's okay.
we already kind of expected it to a degree. We didn't really expect it to do Spider-Man Far From Home numbers. So you know what? People are always going to talk about this film. Let's just pretend it's a really good film. We haven't seen it yet, obviously, but pretending it's a really good film.
Best
Well,
Marvel movie.
People are
Let's say.
still going to talk about it like, oh man, this is like Winter Soldier 2. This is exactly what I needed. People need to see this film. It's not like the film is going to wither away. It's still going to be a part of Disney Plus on a main page forever. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's my guess is they're gambling, be like, hey, if we delay Black Widow, it's going to run into one of our other films. It's not a huge character. It does suck that if it does fail, it's the last Scarlett Johansson, character in their universe. So that would suck for her, even though it is weird that they're sending her off, even though they already killed her. It's weird. You know what I mean?
And then we have...
it's unfortunate that's like that, but that's my guess.
But then we have the biggest travesty. Peter Rabbit 2, The Runaway, has been delayed to August 7th.
God, you have no idea how much I was disappointed when you said that instead of No Time to Die.
We mentioned it earlier, so that was the only one left, really.
Yeah.
Peter Rabbit 2, The Runaway. Yep. Starring all your favorite people like James Corden.
Oh, God.
I know you love him. Oh, and Grey's Anatomy, in terms of television, Grey's Anatomy was delayed.
So is Riverdale. We can just
Yeah.
read down this New York Post.
Russian Doll and Stranger Things, yeah. Atlanta, back to Donald Glover.
A lot of shows, their production is being kind of halted. Like Falcon and Winter Soldier has its production is shut down.
Yeah.
But because a lot of these
Bachelorette, shit.
But The Bachelor and Bachelorette literally has like half a dozen hours worth of content a week. It's nuts.
But people love
Stop
it, dude.
watching that.
People love
Ugh.
it. People
a
love
lot
drama.
of these. Europe is in like a state of emergency, and a lot of shows that have things that they need to film in Europe or movies they need to film in Europe can't film in Europe. So One of my favorite, before we move on to No Time
Wheel
to
of
Die,
Fortune?
I just want to say, what is the most tragically hilarious delay is New Mutants. Because this film got delayed
totally forgot
5
about
times.
I totally forgot about it.
This movie was supposed to come out in 2017, got delayed to 2018, got delayed to fall of 2018, got delayed till now. And they literally they didn't want to compete with Deadpool 2 and Dark Phoenix. And there were rumors that it was being reshoots were happening to make a completely different film, but I guess that's not the case. And they put out trailers, and it's here for real this time, except now that there's a virus. Just let the X-Men
But what
die.
if the virus gives you
Yeah.
the mutant powers?
Ooh. Yeah. But yeah, James Bond, No Time to Die got delayed till November 25th. Really disappointed about that. I was excited. I was actually going to start watching the Daniel Craig James Bond. It's like a marathon to get ready for this film.
I'm still shocked, though, that out of all these movies, Bloodshot wasn't pushed back. That movie, I don't think, had a lot of hype around it. Maybe I'm wrong. It definitely was, I think, going to win that weekend. But why? It was literally, on... Granted, I'm basing everything based off Maryland's reaction to the coronavirus on Thursday. That's when the mayor announced that all schools are closing, and I thought that was, that's the first domino. Everything's gonna start being closed, and not everything's really closed yet. Not really. I still think there's a chance, but I'm just shocked that no one pulled the plug, being okay, can we move this? We got to move Bloodshot. But maybe the advertising, they felt like maybe they put already too much money into advertising for a smaller budget superhero film, that they're we just got to ride it out. I don't know. I'm very confused because unless that's the only movie, I don't Sonic is still in theaters.
Sonic, okay. I really don't want to disappoint you with this, but Sonic made more in opening weekend of Bloodshot than Bloodshot did.
Damn. But
Bloodshot has a budget, or had a budget, of $45 million.
Which isn't that much.
Guess how much it earned in its opening week?
I think I saw somewhere that said weekend. 8?
No, Devin. 1.2.
Ooh.
Yeah. That's bad. That's really low. That's we might not be able to see this film low. You know what I mean?
And that's... Yeah.
That's really low.
And I can't believe we were going to do our first special episode and got derailed.
Hey, you know what? Maybe this movie will be delayed for 3 years so that we can actually see it chronologically with the rest of our Vin Diesel movies.
I'm just still shocked that they weren't okay, well, this movie's going to... this movie, like I said, I haven't seen that much advertising for it besides, in theaters. Maybe, on... I saw a YouTube ad, maybe. Vin Diesel's been propping it up on his Instagram, but that's really about it. And with that budget, that makes me think that, okay, if we get $100 million out of this, $200 million, that'd be a pretty good success, right? Mm-hmm. But $1.2 million? Whose idea was to leave it in here? Everyone's going to suffer this weekend. In fact, I pulled up a stat here that, so 100 theaters closed total out of the 5,800 theaters in the United States, which, by the way, seems really low in terms of total theaters in the United States. I would think there'd be 10,000. Only 5,800. I find that kind of low, but this, in terms of total ticket sales for all movies combined, $56 million total.
Wow.
And that's lower than the weekend after 9/11.
Wow.
This is the lowest it's been in 20 years.
Well, I don't want to say I guess it makes sense, but if you think about it, we're being told to stay indoors and home. Yeah. 9/11 seemed like a one and done. We were living in fear.
I don't know. We were so young at that time. I've heard stories of people thinking...
As a people, we were living in fear. Devin, 1 week, 2 weeks after 9/11, an event that happened in New York City launched Grand Theft Auto 3, a game that takes place in New York City, where you just destroy things and kill. That game was just sold so many copies that year. So,
I guess people wanted to be distracted. So, if anything, I'm surprised.
That's what I'm thinking. People went to see movies because of that, and People don't want to get a virus, not get the terrorist, I guess. I don't know.
But still, I mean, that's in 20 years, it's never been that bad. And that's why I'm shocked that Bloodshot's like, nope, we're not moving. I mean, granted, maybe they did think about moving, but they thought it was too late. But like the warning signs were on the wall. I mean, 2 weeks ago, Italy announced that, we're going to start quarantining people, whatnot. And then it got really bad within 2 weeks. And like everything's been shut down, like more so than here. I don't know if it'll ever even get as close as it is over there. Like people are singing in the streets, which I find so wholesome, by the way. I've seen like 3 separate videos of just Italians singing to each other across apartment complexes. And like that would never happen here because everyone's mean here in the United States.
Instead, we see people lining up for bars at 8 a.m.
Yeah, or going to concerts with hundreds of thousands of people, and I'm like, why?
Yeah, crowds are something you should avoid, but Bloodshot apparently is something too. So.
Maybe this was a curse from the beginning.
I know.
Who knows?
Maybe this is a sign we need to jump off this Vin Diesel bandwagon. Like,
I don't know.
Literally, then his next 2 movies got delayed. Oh no, sorry. One got bombed and the other got delayed.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to try to see it. We'll see how this week goes. I think we have to kind of play it by ear, mostly. But I'm also worried that, like you said, it's going to bomb so bad that it's going to be...
It gets yanked.
Or it's only going to be, one theater at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Tuesday.
So I guess what our plan is, we're going to wait out the next few days, see how things are going, and then try to make a plan. But next episode probably won't be the review either.
Yeah, don't count on it.
Yeah.
But if it comes, it comes. But, I'm expecting these next 2 weeks to be the worst of it. Just based off what happened in Italy, what happened in South Korea, where, like, it's like there was warning signs about it, and then all of a sudden, like, boom, everyone has it for, like, 2 weeks, and then it disappears. Not disappears, but, like, the cases drop severely. But also, there's a lot of other, like, the United States is so much bigger than all those countries that, who knows, it might be the East Coast has it for 2 weeks, and then the Midwest is going to have it, the 2 weeks after. I don't know. Who knows? They might ban travel. I mean, they already banned travel internationally, like in terms of Europe, but like it might be borders closing and stuff like that. So we'll see. Like I said, I'm still shocked that the theaters didn't close. Like I know you were saying earlier how like they need to get money, but you're probably losing money. I'm not saying I agree with it, but I'm assuming these business people are, they see numbers and they're like, oh, I'm losing more money paying people to be there.
Maybe they're just hoping that it all, gets out of the way soon. I don't know. Then we can go back to seeing movies.
It's crazy, though.
Crazy world we live in.
And in case the world ends and like half the population perishes, this is an audio log that you can find.
Exactly. I'm gonna make this physical on some sort of tape and nail it to my wall of my apartment, so that when someone when the apocalypse happens, when they loot through my building to find bags of potato chips or health kits, they'll see this audio recording and they'll learn some history. And maybe if I know I'm gonna die, maybe I'll sit on my toilet and hold a gun, so that when they walk in my bathroom, they see a skeleton with a gun on the floor at the toilet. Yeah, they think, oh, this man must have killed himself, environmental storytelling.
My audio logs will be me being really on the nose, be like, man, I hope no one finds my secret rations in the floorboards.
Right. In case I forget, the password to my secret safe is 0451.
I can't,
anything else today?
Please stay inside if your city is saying so. Please don't be that person. Like, I went to Dunkin' Donuts today, and I felt bad, and now I'm like, I'm not going anywhere. If you have to go to work, go to work. But if you're getting sick, go see a doctor.
If your work has sick time that's allocated or allotted or whatever for coronavirus, that's paid, use it. Use it.
Yeah.
If you don't get it, then, do your chances. You do you.
Do what's best for you, please.
Yeah.
And I'm, like, legitimately, like, at the end of the day, Yeah,
And just
job is
remember,
jobs, money is money, but you don't want to risk paying for it in the end, or your life is at stake.
Yeah.
But,
or if you hate your job and you want to make it rough for them, and you do get sick, maybe go to work anyway. Because remember,
don't
they
do that.
they could afford to pay everyone to go home forever, but they don't.
But you got to think about the other people. Like especially the older people. Your grandma. All right, think about her. All right, what would Sonic do? That's always the answer.
Which Sonic? The Sonic from the Christmas special, where he runs around the planet in 3 seconds and gives everyone presents.
Yeah, because then you can spread it quicker.
Let's get it over with.
Didn't someone say that? I think on.
Yeah, he
Fox
said what's
News
best for the economy is if we give everyone coronavirus. That's what's best for Wall Street. Like, wow. There is a bit of a distance between mindsets here, because I don't want to have people die.
But what do we know? We're just two nerds who have a Sonic movie show
games.
who are now talking about Vin Diesel and our favorite TV shows. So I don't know.
Yeah. A Sonic movie show that airs every Sunday
There it is.
on podcast services known as Apple's
Around the
Podcast,
globe.
Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, as well as a video version on YouTube that isn't a video. I don't know why I call it
Maybe
a
one
video
day,
version.
give us $100,000 and we can give you a
yes,
we can.
You know what? Instead of giving us money, let's start off with a nice 5-star review or a like on YouTube with a comment. Let us know what you're thinking. Are you going to go see a movie? Like, at all? Are you going to go to a theater for the next week or so? Let us know. Tweet at us at Sonic Movie Show, or tweet at me at Ethan Absolutely. I get it mixed up now. Or, why don't you tweet at Devin? His name is Fuck You. At Cursona YouTube on Twitter. Let us know if you're going to go see a movie. Give us a 5-star review. Don't give us a 4-star review or a 3 or a 2 or a 1. Just a 5. I don't even think some of these services allow less than 5 stars. It's kind of like a courtesy thing. Even if you absolutely hate the show, you're supposed to give a 5-star review. That's just the way of things. That's just what they tell me when I go to Apple and they gave us that $10,000 for starting a podcast.
Does Libsyn even have a review feature?
No, Libsyn is just like an RSS feed. Here's how you can socket it into places.
I almost said LinkedIn.
Yeah.
We're also on LinkedIn. Feel free to add us. We'll be your professional coaches. Get that dream job you always wanted.
So next week, who knows? Bye.
Bye.